This is the Crazy Over 40s Live podcast, where every Thursday you will have a pirouette of rotating co-hosts, including myself, Caroline Brown, that will delve into topics relating to the over 40s. For aware of this notion that you're going through a midlife crisis, we're going for a crazy over 40s life. It's the time to uncover and rebirth our adolescent years filled with curiosity and all our desires. We do it right here on the Crazy Over 40s Live podcast. We look into relationships, emotional, sexual, financial wellness, entrepreneurships, providing you with an enjoyable delivery every Thursday. And don't forget to share and subscribe so you can keep updated on all the episodes as and when they become available. I hope you enjoy this episode. Have you ever wondered how to live your life intentionally? But to do that, you have to be well. You need to be able to, first of all, engaged, to be motivated, sustain, and to be present. All that requires being intentional, doesn't it? Intentional wellness for me means being consciously aware or consciously choosing which best supports your health and balance in your body, mind, and spirit. Not in the new year or every Christmas or every Easter. Essentially, on a daily basis, being committed to it moment to moment. Thoughts can be harmful. That you have to think, well, do I want to live my life around thoughts that are going to be intentionally harmful to me? Check in our beliefs. What works for and against us? Toxins in our environment. What is supporting our well-being is very important. Jennifer Smurs is a compassionate coach that genuinely cares about each and every single one of us. So she's talking to you, my listeners. She's here to tell us how we can live our best and healthiest life, whether it's motivating ourselves to get into fitness a little bit more, educating ourselves around toxins that are hidden in many household products. And she's here to share a more safer, natural options. After being diagnosed with breast cancer at age 43, followed by 5 surgeries and 18 months of treatment, she had to reevaluate her experience of wellness. She's here to tell us the strategies of helping incorporate healthy daily habits and empowering them to take control over your life. She's here to share all of this on the Crazy Over 40s Live podcast. She shall be joining us after the interlude. And don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm your host, Caroline Brown. Hello everyone. As I said before, we shall be introduced very quickly by Jennifer Smurs. Hello Jennifer.
Hello Caroline, how are you today?
I'm doing really well. The sun is shining and I believe it's nice and warm where you are too.
Yes, although we are completely across the world, we too are experiencing a beautiful sunny morning.
United we shall stand.
That's right.
But just tell my listeners a little bit more about you.
Yes, well, I'm the most important, I think, is that I'm a mom of 2 teenage boys. That's my pride and joy. But I have been in the fitness industry really all my life. I started working at a gym when I was in high school, knew very quickly that moving my own body and motivating other people was something that I enjoyed. So I've done that sort of part-time throughout my life. And then was in human resources after having my 2 boys, moved into career coaching and career counseling. And the theme seems to be, and I continued working at the gym, yoga and weight programs, but it comes down to just being able to work with individuals, help motivate them, make sure that they've got good habits, whether it's looking for work and transitioning their careers or just healthy lifestyle choices, or, you know, when they are at the gym. So that's, although I've taken on different roles over the years, that seems to be the theme that has stuck with me.
Right. And you know, something that you mentioned there, you know, you have a lot going on, but even you have a lot going on, you're sharing, you know, your experiences with others. There's always a story behind the work that we do. Tell us a little bit about what drove you to this area of work that you do.
Yes, so it's coming actually up to 3 years. It was May 28th, 2019. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And at the time, I was 43. They caught it early. I was booked in for my first surgery 2 weeks after being diagnosed. So everything happened quickly, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
Needless to say, I have had 5 surgeries, 3 tumors, and over 18 months of treatments. And I still have ongoing treatments every 6 months. So what, you know, should have been fairly straightforward. There were a few bumps in the road, with no pun intended.
Not at
And
all.
yeah, as part of that, so I was, just because my nature, and again, I do enjoy motivating others and working out. I did try to do continue instructing while through my treatments, and I was able to probably for the first half, and then my motivation decreased. I mean, at that point, yeah, I'm losing weight. Yeah, I've lost my hair, and it's, you know, just dealing with daily life was enough. But then coming out of that, after my chemo and radiation, I was excited to get back into, you know, into the gyms and into motivating people, and that's when the pandemic hit. So, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to interrupt you. I mean, the story in itself, you know, very inspiring to me to hear all the time. It never gets my ears never gets closed off from hearing stories like this again and again, because what it tells me that even during a time, you know, of your recovery is helped by helping others in a way. That's what it sounds to me.
You know what? Absolutely. And I have since, I'm part of different cancer groups, support groups, just because when you've gone through something, I think that's more relatable. And you had just mentioned, you know, how having a story, and I think, you know, anyone can help others and motivate and be great coaches. But when you can relate or be able to share your story, I think that speaks volumes too. And it makes people realize, wow, you know, she's been through it. You know, she's human and not this super, you know, superhuman individual. So I think it helped me recover as well, knowing that I could assist others and share what I've learned and things that I've incorporated over the last couple of years.
Yeah. And I'm sure the people who you work with are inspired by your transparency about your process as well.
You know what? I really think they are, because I'm back instructing classes in the gym, and I mean, with 4 surgeries in my on my left side, my range of motion isn't the same. My strength will likely never be the same. And for some, they're like, wow, you're still teaching. And I'm like, well, you know what? I think that's motivation for people to realize that, you know, you can go through what, you know, it doesn't have to be cancer, it can be anything, and there's still modifications, there's still things that you can do to stay healthy, to keep your body moving. And for me, I need that mentally, and I think it helps. Yeah, I think it helps other people to realize they don't have to go at this full you know, heavy weight, or they don't have to be doing the run. They can be just walking, and it just makes it, you know, people realize there's options out there. And I do think that's, again, more relatable for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hearing your story, it makes me relate to, you know, your resilience. You know, understanding resilience can take many forms, but it's an active, it's intentional resilience you have to build, isn't it? And it's intentional.
It absolutely is, and I don't want to come across to your audience that it was easy and I was always strong, because I certainly had my days and still do. Um, I think a lot of what we deal with in life is the mental piece, and our
Right.
thoughts and what we're telling ourselves, and that I think that that's a huge piece, and it's not a case of being positive. It's a case of accepting where you're at, acknowledging where you're at, and then making the choice as to how you want to react or move forward. And whatever life has sort of thrown my way, whether it's just been in the last 3 years since my diagnosis or prior, I think that it's learning, and it's stepstones, and every day is could be a different struggle, but it's how you're going to deal with it. That's, I think, the important thing to focus on.
Yeah, very important to focus on, because you did say before you were healthy, but I actually think that there's a difference between being healthy and wellness. I think wellness is more it's an active, as we just mentioned, an active process, isn't it? You become aware and you make choices, you know.
Absolutely. And I mean, when I say, I think of whether we use the word wellness, balance, holistic lifestyle, my interpretation of that has changed as I've gotten older and wiser. But when I was younger and starting out at the gym, I've always been petite. I didn't really worry as much about food. I was exercising, and I thought that was enough. And then,
Lucky you.
as you, as you will, fair enough, but things are changing now. But then as you get older, I realize the importance of fueling the body well. So,
Feeling,
so you add
yes.
in the nutrition piece, and
Mm,
then having kids, you're not sleeping a lot. I realized the importance of sleep. Then it's self-care. Then it's making sure you're getting enough water and managing stress. So all of these different components to me make up wellness. And it's not just about moving the body. It's incorporating all of these pieces, and that to me is what I've sadly taken 46 years to discover, but at least now I think I'm on track.
but
um
what,
and it's
that's the wonderful thing. No, no, go on. Sorry, I was interrupting
Yeah,
you,
and
Jennifer.
well, and the biggest piece for me, I think, again, whether it was through the treatments I've had, but even just dealing with low moods, is the importance of mindfulness and
Mm,
deep intentional breathing. And it seems so minor. I mean, we all breathe, we breathe to live, but I think that's the difference. When we're going through life and
right.
we're stressed, or we're faced with a scary diagnosis or divorce, or our kids are going through something, we tend to do short, shallow breaths. And if we can just step back and slow the breathing down, take deep belly breaths, something as simple as that, and it just might be taking anywhere from 1 to 5, can make such a difference on how we take on the news and move forward from it. So that, again, deep breathing was something when I started at the gyms, that was nothing that I would ever consider. Now that's a daily practice for me.
Yeah, and there's something in what you said that, at the gym, it was like go, 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 go. And when you said that we live to breathe, and that's essentially we're so rushed off our feet in our social, occupational, intellectual, even our emotional well-being, we just on the go, 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 go. And even saying that just feels like the breathing just kind of speeds up just by
Right?
mentioning.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, we live in this fast-paced environment, and go, go, go is exactly what the reality is. And I'm not trying to undermine. I know life is busy, and many of us have to be in that, go, go state. That said, we have to set time aside
Okay.
to breathe, to be mindful, to make sure that our priorities are being met. That self-care is a piece of every day, and I think those are components that get left on, when I have time, as opposed to making it a priority for us.
Mm. And what are some of the things, that you offer to your when you're working with your clients? What can they expect when they come to you?
You know what? My biggest piece. So when March of 2020, when the pandemic hit, and I, was sort of trying to reinvent myself, it was 1 month after that. So it was April that I was diagnosed with my third tumor, and I was still in active treatment. So at
Okay.
that point, I really took a step back to say, what is going on in my life? Why? I mean, I felt that I had this balanced lifestyle, but something's triggering and something's allowing my body to let these tumors grow. And that's
Okay.
when I learned about the toxins in our household products that we use on a daily basis that have been linked to a number of health ailments.
Tell
So
us
when
more about that. Tell us more about that.
yeah, so I personally have used essential oils and natural skincare because it's, I won't deny, working in the gym, you want to look youthful. And however, I didn't really realize that the dish soaps that we're using, the hand soaps, the sunscreens, I didn't realize that they had chemicals in them that is linked to a variety of ailments: lung disease, asthma, allergies, skin sensitivities, cancers. They've connected it even to having trouble for the reproductive organs and so forth, and gut health. So when I started delving in and reaching out to holistic healers and naturopaths, functional medicine doctors, more on my journey to say that this is where I'm at. Um, is there anything preventatively that I can do to avoid my fourth diagnosis? And that's when they led me to a variety of these health studies and medical journals and documentaries. So since then, and it's now coming up to 2 years, I've continued to research, and it's quite scary that Canada, US is certainly worse than where you are in the UK, but the number of ingredients that are allowed to be in the products, they are not regulated. So in things like supplements or our beauty products, self-care products, cleaning products, they're not regulated, and it takes 26 seconds for whatever is in the air to actually land on our skin and get into the bloodstream. And when I learned that stat, very alarming. So I personally chose to detox my home, look at all the ingredients, and I've been doing that with the foods that I've bought for years. I always look at the back and look at what ingredients it is. I don't know why I didn't do that for my household products, but that is what I certainly
Mm.
educate my clients to ensure that they are aware of the ingredients to try to avoid, to read their labels and ensure that they are using safer products so that they have a safe, clean home for themselves and their families.
Mm. It's nothing more empowering than sort of taking control of what you want to do with your health. And I suppose in what you do, in terms of wellness, and know you incorporate mindfulness as well, or meditation at least, in the work that you do. Are there some things that people struggle with a little bit more than others?
You know what? I think people, it's education, and I love the word that you said, empower, because that's exactly what it felt like when through my journey, I felt like I was at the mercy of the medical system. You have this tumor, your surgery is booked in 2 weeks. Okay, now you need chemotherapy for 5 months, and you need to get blood work. I was always at the beck and call of the health system. When I have learned this information, and again, we're constantly learning, I felt empowered. I realized I have to be my own health advocate and take control. I can't predict what's going to happen in my future and what diagnoses I could or couldn't, may or may not have, but I can control the products in my home. And I think for many people, they, like me, are unaware. So just educating them, empowering them as well to know that they do have some control. It might be weight loss. People feel like they don't know how to lose weight. So it's real, educating people on the importance of rest, in fueling your body, drinking enough water, some of the foods to avoid, and some of the foods to ensure that are, in your daily regimen. I think it's all about education and finding little habits that people can incorporate so that it becomes part of their lifestyle.
And the goal that I see from what I'm hearing, and I truly believe, is wellness can enhance your overall well-being as a person. And over 40s, we need to take a little bit more care of our well-being and wellness, more importantly. It's so lovely to talk. I can talk more and more and more. I know we're running out of time here, but any parting words for my audience?
You know what? I think my parting words would be that we need to be advocates for ourselves, whether that's for our health, for our well-being. We do have the control to live a healthier life. And whether that's removing the toxins in your home, whether that's removing toxic people, whether that's moving our body, eating well, we do have the power to do that. And sometimes we need a little help or guidance, but knowing that we can do it, and there is that in itself, I think, is empowering, and hopefully will motivate your audience.
Well, you've motivated me, at least.
Oh, thank you.
Where can my audience find you to get your services?
Yes, I do have a website. It's Jenn, JENN, SMRZ at Wixsite, WIXSite.com/website. So that is a great way to just learn a little bit more about my story and how I can help. I am on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So any of those avenues is a great way to reach me.
And listeners, don't worry, I will have all her details in the episode bio. So don't fear if you didn't catch all of that. Thank you so much for coming on, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity, Caroline. I really appreciate it.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Jennifer again. We're coming on the Crazy Over 40 Side podcast. In the next episode, we shall be joined by Christine Handy. Christine Handy is the best-selling author of the book Walk Beside Me, and she shall be walking beside you all the way on this episode. She was a lifelong model before being diagnosed with breast cancer. She's taken her harrowing experience and her journey from being dependent on her physical beauty as her identity to losing what she felt was her only worth. She's written this book to inspire and to give hope to all women all over the world that you can find your purpose too, even through the most difficult challenges. She shall be joining us on the Crazy Over 40 Side podcast on the 17th of November. Right, you know how to get hold of all the information. You can Instagram, Facebook, the crazyover40slife.com website, and don't forget to share and subscribe so you can keep updated on all the episodes as and when